Yo, what is up, guys? Jay Kwan here, and welcome back for this week's episode of our local matchup. And today we got myself playing the Amethyst Emerald Diablo discard deck versus our buddy here who's playing Ruby Sapphire, and I believe this is Din's list. So we're gonna see Maui Half Sharks and a bunch of locations like the McDuck Manor just being dropped down constantly. So it's going to be a super fun matchup. I did see Emerald Amethyst slowly creeping up in some of the tops recently. So I decided to, give it a try and see, how we can actually play this deck and how it kind of navigates throughout this meta. So super excited to showcase this deck here for you guys. I believe in this current matchup right now, I'm choosing to go first. So this means that we're going to be hard mulliganing for those Diablos, and hopefully we can gain a lot of advantage before we have a lot of the Maui Half Sharks and B Preps and all these McDuck Manors being dropped on us. All right, so let's get into it here. So like I said, we started off going first. So again, we are looking for that 1-drop Diablo with a Diablo Shift. Now, being the fact that we are playing Amethyst, we are also hoping to get a lot of draw cards. So things like Friends on the Other Side, Diablo, Rabbits, and Genies, to really just make sure that we can gain as much resources as possible. Because again, we are playing against Ruby Sapphire, and the Ruby Sapphire deck has just so many ways to get rid of our stuff. Now, in this deck, it is pretty cool because we are running 10 Diablo Shift targets. So we're running 4 1-drop Amethyst Diablo, 4 1-drop Emerald Diablo, and also 2 of the new Archazia's Island Diablo. It's a dual ink, and that's a 2-drop, it's an evasive, and it does have Challenger 2, so look out for that. Okay, so we did start off and get the perfect line of, Diablo turn 1 and then turn 2 Diablo Shift. So this way that we're now able to hopefully draw more cards turn after turn in case like more Popsicles or Harems get dropped. So we are looking at the hand right now with Ursula Deceiver coming down. Unfortunately, we don't hit any songs at all, but we do get a very crucial hand information that will be able to kind of navigate through his hand and be able to play around a lot of different things, right? So even if we haven't, repped a song out, it is also just very nice to see what the opponent has. Okay, so again, turn after turn, we're going to be drawing with the Diablo Shift. And things to look out for is that Ruby Sapphire, they're going to play cards like Brawl, Small Sisu sometimes. I'm not sure if this list plays Small Sisu, but Sisu, Big Shift Sisu is what we have to look out for. Medusa. So, and I believe we're also going to have to look out for Maui Half Shark because it is also an evasive too. So inks a Goofy and plays a Vision, just hoping to search for answers at this point. Being the fact that we are lower to the ground as well, with characters not so strong in their strength, getting rid of those McDuck Manors once they're being dropped are going to be very difficult for us unless we can get cards like Crab and Madam Min Fox. And we do play copies of Creaky as well. So Creaky will be able to give all our characters +3 strength to hopefully be able to take out a McDuck in one go. All right, so we drop a Prince John, and now we're gonna start doing Emerald things. And we're gonna start discarding cards because we're gonna sing Sudden Chill, discarding a card, and then drawing a card from Prince John as well. So our game plan is to throw out a bunch of small stuff that hopefully gets card advantage, right? Like Diablo 1-drop, when it gets banished, we're gonna draw Diablo Shift, we're gonna draw turn after turn. Prince John is also gonna let us draw when the opponent discards cards. So, again, we're just wanting to just play cards turn after turn to be able to just keep up that pace, while also discarding a lot of the crucial cards in the opponent's hand, like again, Maui Half Shark, your Hirems, Big Sisu, Be Prepared, right? So a lot of times when it comes to this matchup, if you can, I would highly recommend to save your discard until maybe 1 or 2 cards left in the opponent's hand. That way you can just rip everything, and you know that when it comes to playing against Ruby, Sapphire, they play a lot of cards like Vision, then Develop Your Brain, and Grammatala. So these cards are going to allow them to just sift through the top of their deck and start to craft their hand. But the longer that we wait, the better their hand is going to be, allowing us to get bigger and better rips off of our discard. So we're going to do some pretty disgusting things here, unfortunately. We're dropping another Prince John and singing Sudden Chill again. And Prince John's effect does stack, so we are drawing 2 cards instead of 1, on top of turn after turn of drawing with Diablo. But all these characters that we're establishing can just be gone in a moment's notice if a big Sisu gets dropped. But luckily for us, the opponent only has about 4 or 5 ink. So from there, we're feeling pretty safe. And a lot of times when it comes to questing with Prince John, it is something that you do have to be mindful of, because with this matchup, there's going to be super goofs, there could be Mauis, there could be Maui half sharks with Vitalis spheres. So they could take out Prince Johns in one shot. But a lot of times, as soon as we start discarding their stuff and gaining a couple of draws from Prince John, it kind of just does its job already, right? So we don't mind questing, especially if there's only a T-Pool on board. And if they're committing to playing characters that are just taking out Prince John, they're not really ramping or establishing other things like McDuck, right? So again, those are the types of plays that we want to push the opponent in making, so that way we can further establish our game plan instead, while making the opponent being reactive to our board. Okay, so it looks like our opponent passes turn after he Grammatalas. Unfortunately with Grammatala, because it is looking at the top 2 cards and adding a card into the hand, we don't get that Diablo draw, so keep that in mind. So this is my favorite turn of this game, just because I finally get to play the one and only Ursula Shift. And this is the enchanted that I did win from the couple of set champs ago. And I didn't really have a way to actually, include an enchanted in a deck until now. So with this current build, I am playing 2 copies of Ursula Shift. I know that the deck lists that have recently topped with the Emerald Amethyst deck doesn't actually play Ursula Shift, but I personally felt like I really wanted something bigger on the board to not only come down without the opponent expecting it and questing for 3, but also helps to exert their characters for us to start to challenge with foxes and crabs and things like that as well. So luckily for us here as well, the Ursula Shift is large enough for us to start singing our Brunos, bouncing something back to the hand and randomly discarding a card. So if you guys don't know, the Ursula Shift, essentially that is the only character that can sing songs. So no other character, including my own, cannot exert to sing songs. So it's a little bit like a floodgate in a way. It slows the game state down. It is more effective against Emerald Steel and Amber Steel, but it's just really nice to see as well. Okay, so Maui Half Shark gets dropped. The opponent does not have any Vitalis Sphere, so we are feeling a little bit safe, just because there's nothing that the Maui Half Shark can challenge in right away when it gets dropped. But this also could potentially slow us down as well, because any character that we use to quest will be vulnerable for a Maui Half Shark to challenge into our character to get back another action, which could snowball, right? So they could get back like Develop, Envision, and then slowly start to find things that they need to come back into the game, right? Like again, big Sisu, be prepared, things like that. So in this case here, we're gonna do a really funny play. So we're questing with Ursula, exerting the Maui Half Shark, and then dropping a Merlin Crab. increasing our Diablo strength by 3 and allowing us to challenge into the Maui Half Shark and taking it out and trading, because again, like our Diablo has 5 strength and the Maui Half Shark only has 5 willpower, so it's the perfect number. And then we play the Sudden Chill and just start discarding more and more stuff from our opponent's hand. I believe he only has about 1 card left at this point. So he's in top deck mode. He's not fully ramped yet, and we do have a bunch of hard questers right now, and we are in the lead at 10-0. So we're feeling pretty strong at this point. So at this point, because we're feeling pretty strong, you know, and pretty safe, we're just gonna quest with Prince John. If they get challenged, you know, big deal. We still have Ursula, Big Shift, and then we also have Crab and other cards to follow up with. Okay, so opponent plays Gramatala. There's really not too much that they can really find here that's gonna win them the game, because again, they don't have too much ink at all left over, and they need to get rid of both Prince Johns and the Ursula Big Shift to really give themselves a chance to come back from this game, because they don't even have enough for Be Prepared. So it looks like the opponent just has a Brawl in the hand, but unfortunately, again, Prince John does have Ward. Can't choose the Prince John. Crab has 3, and Ursula is just way too big for Brawl as well. So he decides to scoop it up, since next turn I can just exert everything and you know, quest out for game. So that was game 1. Looks like we were able to do everything that we wanted to do in the deck, which is find ourselves the Diablo Shift line, and then also discarding the opponent as well, while keeping up the tempo by allowing us to draw, you know, cards turn after turn after turn. So again, being the fact that this is a best out of 2 in our logos, the Ruby Sapphire player will be going first now. This means that we will be a little bit of in a disadvantage, just due to the fact that he can now use Brawl 1 turn earlier than our Diablo, right, that comes out. So our Diablo is really only going to stick around for 1 turn if we choose to shift onto that. But let me know if you know, you guys been testing out with the Emerald Amethyst deck. Personally, I haven't played too much in these colors in the past, but I know I have played Emerald Steel and I have played a lot of Amethyst decks, so it is pretty familiar. And just looking at all the cards that you know, is in this deck are engines that other decks use as well, right? So in a way, it's kind of just like good stuff deck, right? You got the draw from Amethyst and you got the discard from Emerald. There are different variations of the Emerald Amethyst deck as well. There is a more lower to the ground aggro deck that plays like the Merfolks, I believe some Maleficents, 1-drop, the really aggro quester, and just again like a bunch of evasive cards as well. But again, like in this case here, we're going more of the discard route, just because these are, you know, the cards I've already had in the Emerald Steel deck, so I figured, hey, might as well just make the Emerald Amethyst discard version. So I believe we are going to be mulliganing for 5 or 6. And again, regardless whether or not we go first or second, we just want to make sure that we can just curve out very nicely and hope that we have that Diablo Shift. I can't stress that enough. A lot of times I feel like these types of decks are almost Diablo or bust in some scenarios, right? Because even if you have Prince John, you may not have the discard, right? And even if you do have Prince John in the discard, they may have a whole ton of cards in their hand where it doesn't even matter. So it looks like the Ruby Sapphire player inks and plays a Develop Your Brain. And again, this is going to allow him to look at the top 2 cards of his deck and putting one card into his hand and the other in the bottom of the deck. Going to be inking the Fox. And we're playing a Diablo. Okay, perfect. So he gets the Tipo, which is what he wants to see, that or Azurite C. Just because on turn 2, it's very crucial that you do not skip on the ramp, right? Because you want to just get right into that turn or 4 ink character, or maybe how far it'll go on turn 3 to really keep up. So I played the Ursula, shows me the hand. I don't believe there's any songs for me to discard. Unfortunately, he showed us on the top screen, so unfortunately there's a little bit glare there, so I do apologize on that. But again, it's fine, right? Like even if we're not ripping any songs out, we just want to make sure that we're understanding his game plan based off of his hand, so we can start to avoid and play around things. So he drops the Goofy, and what Goofy does is it has Rush, and when it challenges a character, it gains 2 lore, and it does not have to banish the character to gain that 2 lore. But luckily for us, we do have that Diablo that it challenged, so we are getting back a card due to Diablo being banished there. All right, I'm thinking long and hard because we know that Goofy can challenge the Ursula if I do anything, and it's going to gain him another 2 lore. So we're just going to ink. We're going to ink the Diablo dual ink shift here, and we're going to play, I believe, if I recall, we're playing that Crab, which is like the perfect answer in this case, because Ursula has a 1/3 stat, and Crab allows Ursula to gain 4 strength, which is exactly enough to take out the Goofy Super Goof. Do you guys think the Din's list is still currently viable in this meta with so many item decks running around? Or do you think, Ruby Sapphire is mainly going to be topping a lot more with the item variations? What do you guys think? I still personally think the McDuck manners, they're just super strong. Like sure, a lot of blue decks are teching in location hate, but there's just so many things that you have to take into consideration, right? Because that's just one location hate for one McDuck, whereas the deck plays 4 McDuck manners. And there's other ways to gain lore too, right? Like Maui Half Shark and Pirate's Life. So I still personally like the deck a lot. All right, so I'm thinking long and hard here. Thinking, is it still okay that I can do other things like singing, or should I establish my board? So I choose to sing Friends on the Other Side, getting us 2 cards, so Pot of Greed. And these are the things that we just want to constantly see as well, right? Like if we're not doing too much and being too reactive into the Ruby Sapphire's board, we want to make sure that we're doing things that is going to give us resources and more hand advantage, right? So playing Friends on the Other Side, Rabbits, and Genies. Okay, so we're playing the Fox, bouncing the Crab, and hitting right into the Tipo. Inking the Crab. But what I do is that I shuffled my hand here because we actually have another crab in the hand. So I want to think, like I want to be able to make the opponent think that we ink the same crab that we bounce back. So that way he doesn't actually have to think about another crab being dropped on him in the future. Okay, so he plays another Vision. And now he gets to look at the top 5 cards, which is different from Develop, which looks at the top 2, but the rest of the effect is the same. So a lot of times the game plan is, when you're versing purple decks as the Ruby, Sapphire, Din's list, you want to make sure that you're clearing off any characters first before dropping those McDuck manners, because unfortunately in this matchup, purple has a lot of outs for those McDuck in the form of foxes and crabs. And of course I do play Creaky as well. So that's exactly what he does. He trades in with the Grammatala into the fox and drops that McDuck manner, allowing him to get 2 lore turn after turn if that doesn't go away. So we play the Hypnotize, and why I choose to play the Hypnotize rather than establishing a character on the board to contest the McDuck is just due to the fact that right now he only had 2 cards in his hand. So I Hypnotize, and then I played Sudden Chill, ripping both cards out of his hand, making him go into top deck mode. Yes, the McDuck is going to stick around for maybe 2 or 3 turns, but now he's in top deck mode and it's going to allow us to hopefully establish the board with our cards in the hand, and then maybe getting rid of the McDuck, a couple turns after. So we're still in it. We're still in it, and hopefully the opponent does not top deck a Popsicle, but the only problem is that, again, he plays Develop, he plays Vision, he plays Grammatala, so there's so many ways to find that Popsicle and slowly start to snowball and gain back control. But this is where we have our new card being played from Archazia's Island, which is the Iago Illusion. And it's a 4-drop, and it has a stat line of 4/6, so it's huge. And combine this with, again, a fox and a crab, it's going to allow us to take out the manner quicker than later. So we're happy to see it. So because he's in top deck mode, he just top decked the Tipo, and he really couldn't do much there. So he had to play the Tipo, and then for fun, he just moved everything into the McDuck manner and passed his turn. So right now he does have the lore advantage of being at 7, whereas we're currently at 1. All right, so we're shifting into the Diablo just because it is very safe to do so. He has no cards in his hand, so nothing that we have to worry about right now that's going to make the Diablo, get banished. And luckily for us, this is going to be exactly enough for us to take out the McDuck manner after we play the crab, giving the Diablo +3 strength. Right, because Diablo goes up to 5, Iago has 4, that's 9, that's exactly enough to take out the manner. Oh, and unfortunately he top stacked the Diablo answer and plays that brawl. But hey, all good. Again, he's still in top deck mode, and we're still feeling pretty good because we have like 3 or 4 cards in the hand. So we're feeling pretty confident right now. The only thing that would ruin our day was probably maybe like a top deck Be Prepared, because he is exactly at 7. But I'm like, what are the chances, right? So I just dropped both of my Diablos that are sitting in my hand for so long, and I believe I just quest with everything. Or okay, I challenged the crab into the Tipo, and then I just quest one with Iago. So Iago, because it is illusion, if he does choose to target it with any action, it does get banished right away. Okay, so he plays the Azurite Sea into a Vision. Hopefully he can find that Popsicle. And it looks like he did find the Popsicle, and it was the very last card on that fifth draw there from the Vision. So we play the Popsicle and then Hiram quest for 1, breaking the Popsicle, drawing an additional 2 cards. So now his hand is back. But right now we do have board presence. We have double Diablo, we have Iago, we have Crab. We just have all these birds right now on the board. All these birds are hunting. They're hunting for that seafood. They're hunting for those Tamatoas and for those Maui half sharks. Nice. Okay, so we hard casted the We Don't Talk About Bruno, bouncing a card back into the hand, and then we randomly discard a card. And we discard the McDuck, which is not what we really want to see because he's not going to use the McDuck anyways. He's probably going to ink that just due to the fact that, again, we have the board presence, so the McDuck manor will get taken out right away as soon as he plays it. Oh, and he rips the Be Prepared. Knocks out every single one of my characters there. But luckily for us, that does exert all of his ink, so he does have to pass it over to us where we can then establish the board again. So we have that rabbit waiting. We slap that rabbit on, drawing us a card. Again, keeping up with the card advantage, right? And we hard cast Friends on the other side, drawing us another 2 cards. Wow. I think this game we probably drew like over 10 cards with Diablo and Friends combined there. Alright, so we're dropping, I believe this is the 3rd McDuck Manor now. Which isn't all that bad to drop a McDuck Manor at this point, because again, we only have 1 character with 2 strength. It's not really going to do much, so McDuck is guaranteed to at least stick around for maybe one turn, getting him maybe 2 to 4 lore perhaps. And he inks a card and drops a Hiram. And the reason why he's inking a card right now, rather than keeping that in his hand, because again, he knows that I play discard, so he doesn't want to take a chance that I'm just going to rip it out of his hand next turn. Alright, so we're singing another Friends on the other side. Oh my gosh, we're just drawing card after card after card after card. We have so much hand advantage right now. So we're seeing all our card draw, and our opponent unfortunately isn't, because he needs popsicles and tamatoas to just constantly feel that Hiram for his card draw, right? But he's not seeing that right now. But the game is not over yet, because again, Ruby, Sapphire can always snowball and come back, because they have cards like Pirate's Life, right, that allows them to gain 2 lore and minuses 2 lore from us. So we play the Elsa. Personally, I don't really care for discarding or exerting, I should say. So we choose not to do that, because I'm just going to throw the Elsa into the McDuck anyways. Okay, we're playing out a Diablo. And the reason why that we're establishing all these characters right now is because we actually have a perfect out, which you guys will see in a second here. So Elsa and the rabbit goes right into the McDuck, dealing 4 damage onto it, so that we have to deal 5 more damage to get rid of it. And let's see what our opponent top decked here. Another Be Prepared would be nice, because again, you just want to be really reactive to our characters and just do everything possible to make those McDuck Manors stick around. So right now he's at 11 lore compared to my 6. So he is technically winning. Okay, so he top decked the Let It Go, putting the Elsa into my Inkwell, which is pretty ironic actually, because they're both Elsas. And he quests for 1 and passes turn. Alright, counting up my ink, seeing what I can do here. Alright, so we're playing the Creaky. Like I said, guys, the perfect out in the scenario right now, because again, when Creaky is dropped, he gives 3 strength to every single character on my board for 1 turn, allowing us to just take out that McDuck with both our Rabbit and our Diablo, making use of our very smaller, weaker characters. So it's like perfect. Love to see it. And now we're dropping our own location. We're like, okay, we got rid of yours, I'm dropping my own. We're playing the library. And we're just gonna try to establish dominance with the board presence and just putting in my small characters back into the library, so that way if they are banished with maybe a top deck Be Prepared or Big Sisu, I'm still able to gain some card draw with that. So he top decked the Maui Half Shark, which kind of makes me nervous, because again, like, he can challenge into any of my characters, right? And then at that point, he's just gonna get stuff back like visions and develop and snowball from there. He could even get back Be Prepared if he really wants to, and he'll still gain 1 lore playing Be Prepared with if Maui Half Shark is on the field still. So I play Hypnotize, Now keep in mind the Hypnotize does not require for the opponent to discard. So if the opponent doesn't have a hand, I'm just drawing one card for Hypnotize. So at this point I'm just digging. And it works out because I drew one card for Hypnotize, dropped the Genie, draw a card, and we found We Don't Talk About Bruno, sending that shark back into the hand. Because it's the only card in the hand, it gets discarded right away. And now we're just questing for everything. And this is a very pivotal moment because Genie does quest for 2 and Creaky quests for 3. So next turn, we're gonna be pretty close to lethal. He's really thinking here because right now he has exactly 6 ink left. He's not going to be able to be prepared, right? Because he has no cards in hand. He's going to have 1 card from Vision, but needs that additional ink for be prepared. So he needs to have something else that can be able to do something to the board here. So I'm going to gain 1 lore from the library at the start of the turn. He couldn't do anything. He's hoping that he's going to survive anyways, and maybe he's going to be prep after. But we're not going to let that happen because we're going to play the Prince John and we're going to discard that card, which is a Be Prepared. And we're just going to quest out with everything and really just close out the game here. Yep. Questing with everything. Taking us all the way to 17. So we do have lethal on board right now. And the thing is, even if he does top deck another Be Prepared, that library will still be around getting us another 1 lore. So plays the Azurite. Oh, he finds the Popsicle finally. Quest for 1 with Hiram. Draws 2. And he's like, nah, I don't got nothing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that game there. Super exciting to bring a new deck to showcase here for you guys. Here's the deck list that I've used. Feel free to pause the video. And the link will be down in the bio as well. And here's my friends list for the Ruby Sapphire. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.